All right, welcome. So if you're a business owner here in Australia, you've probably thought a lot about cybersecurity. But what if the biggest threat wasn't some super complex hack, but something as simple as the clock? Today, we're going to look at why the hours your business is closed are actually its most vulnerable and how you can lock things down 24/7. So let's get into it.
Seriously, just think about this for a second. Your team puts in a hard day's work, 9 to 5. But what happens to your data, your systems, your entire operation for the next 16 hours? Who's watching the castle after all the guards have gone home for the night?
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll define what we mean by the overnight security gap. Then we'll look at a much smarter solution. We'll unpack a pretty amazing global advantage, talk about how you build a team you can actually trust, and finally, get to the real payoff here, peace of mind.
All right, first up, let's really shine a light on this vulnerability that, honestly, most small and medium-sized businesses face every single day.
It's a pretty simple idea, but it's kind of unsettling when you think about it. For most businesses in Australia, the moment the workday ends is the moment their biggest risk period begins. Cyber threats, well, they don't clock out at 5 p.m. They're often most active precisely when no one's around to see them.
And look, this is the bind that pretty much every SME finds itself in. Trying to build an in-house security team that works around the clock is just crazy expensive. For most, it's not even an option. And what that creates is this huge, dangerous gap between the 9 to 5 coverage you might have and the 24/7 protection you actually need.
But what if there was a smarter way to close that gap without completely emptying your budget? This brings us to a whole new way of thinking about your security. Okay, the key here is to really get what this model is all about. We're not talking about just another IT provider. Think of this as an outsourcing facilitator. Basically, a strategic partner who acts as your bridge. Their entire job is to find, rigorously vet, and then connect you with elite cybersecurity talent from around the world, like Brazil, so you can build your own dedicated remote team. And listen, we're not talking about some brand new startup here. This whole model is built on more than 2 decades of experience connecting Brazil and Australia. It's even backed by a license from the Australian government. That's a foundation of trust and know-how you can really depend on.
So, this is where it gets really powerful. This isn't just about plugging a hole in your security. It's about giving your business a huge strategic leg up. It's like building an active immune system for your company, one that literally never sleeps.
This is just brilliant. It's all about using time zones to your advantage. Just as your team in Sydney is packing up for the day, your cybersecurity team over in Brasilia is just getting started with their morning coffee. They become your digital night watch, actively patrolling your systems while you sleep, making sure that when your Aussie team walks in the next morning, they're walking into a totally secure environment. I mean, when you put it side by side, the difference is just night and day, isn't it? The old way is incredibly expensive, it's limited to business hours, and it's usually reactive. This new way is cost-effective, it gives you access to a global talent pool, and it delivers proactive 24/7 protection. It's a no-brainer.
But the perks don't stop there. They go way deeper. Of course, you get that round-the-clock coverage. You tap into this amazing pool of vetted professionals from Brazil. But, and this is huge, you get to hand off the responsibility of that overnight watch. It frees you up to focus on what you're actually supposed to be doing, growing your business.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. Handing over the keys to your digital kingdom, that takes a massive amount of trust. So how is that trust actually built?
And this quote, it just nails it. In the world of cybersecurity, being good with tech is just the price of admission. The real currency, the thing that matters most, is integrity. Character is absolutely non-negotiable.
And that's not just talk. It's backed up by this incredibly rigorous screening process that's actually aligned with Australian government standards. We're talking deep dives into their background, full disclosure of everything. There are zero shortcuts taken when it comes to a person's integrity.
So the bottom line is really simple. If any candidate fails to meet these incredibly high ethical standards, they're out. They are immediately removed from the talent pool, period. This ensures that you are only ever connected with professionals you can absolutely trust.
And all of this brings us to the final, and honestly, I think the most important piece of the puzzle. What's the real return you get from an investment like this?
I love this chart because it puts everything into perspective. Yeah, of course you get cost savings. For sure, it protects your brand's reputation and lets you focus on growth. But just look at that biggest slice. The number one outcome, the ultimate benefit, is being able to switch off at night knowing your business is safe. It's peace of mind. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. This isn't really a conversation about servers or firewalls. It's about securing the future of your company so that you, the owner, can actually get a good night's sleep.
So I'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. We've talked about the solution, but what is the real cost of doing nothing? What's the risk of leaving those digital doors unlocked for just one more night?